Today in Waco, for the 190th time, it's TCU and Baylor. Two teams trying to get past bumps in the road in pursuit of much different goals. You see it right here in the standings. Baylor tied in the second spot with Texas Tech, but if they want to keep pace and have a chance at a conference title, they must win today. TCU, they want a resume builder. It comes with the opportunity. Baylor is undermanned. They've got some serious injury problems. Adam Flagler, LJ Cryer, Jonathan Chachua all out. I bring in my partner, Tim Welsh. Scott Drew made the comment, it's like starting over. How true is that in this part of the season?
Well, it's very difficult to do, but you can only do what you can do, and you can only manage the guys you have on the floor, and injuries do happen. Scott's been positive through it all, but seriously, they have some really good players in our playing today. They're going to have to tighten up things on the offensive end, and especially defensively, make sure they stay out of foul trouble, maybe play a little bit more zone against a dangerous TCU team who rebounds the ball well and has a special guard in Mike Miles.
Scott Drew will hope that his guards can get to the glass today, because without their leading rebounder, JTT, for the rest of the season, it will be a challenge. Number 19, that's how many years Scott Drew has been at Baylor. The turnaround, everybody knows about it. This place, ready to roll. Big Saturday in the Big 12. A lot of movement could happen across the country with respect to NCAA tournament hopes. It all starts today here in Waco. Baylor's won 4 of the last 5. And TCU controls the tip. We're underway. The Horned Frogs coming off a disappointing loss on Tuesday at home to Iowa State.
Now the key is Mike Miles. They've got to get him going early after a pretty much dreadful game earlier this week. Seems like he's healthy, though, with the wrist injuries.
Chuck O'Bannon, miscommunication. That has been an issue for TCU all season long. Turnovers, 14 and a half a game. It's even worse in conference play. They cannot do that on the road. Here's the Baylor starting 5. No Flagler. So Dale Bonner, the Division II Fairmount State transfer, makes his second career start here at Baylor.
There's the key for Baylor. Kinjo's got to get things going early, get everyone involved.
Air ball on the first floater. Here comes Mike Miles. TCU lineup that has held true for 14 games now. Miles short. He was 0 for 8 from the field against Iowa State on Tuesday. Game they lost by just 3. Thamba backcut, Meyer inside, over Miles. Good finish from Matthew Meyer.
It was like starting over for Scott Drew. A little backdoor Princeton action from the big fella. Thamba with the delivery.
Flo Thamba has played his most minutes and his third most minutes of the season over the last 2 games with Chachua out. Miles up, misses his second shot.
That's a little bit of a force by Miles. You can see some frustration early.
Thamba, coast to coast, he's running the floor. Gets the delivery from the freshman, Kendall Brown.
Well, Thamba doing it all early and often. First with the dime drop and then the flush with the rim run.
Scoring has been an issue for the Horned Frogs. Talk about Miles' struggles, but as a team, they've not shot it tremendously. Another turnover. Bonner the other direction. Kinjo, you see the poise, pulling that out, understanding they didn't have numbers there. Kinjo in the paint, back to Thamba, who's fouled by Chuck O'Bannon. Well, they are really active offensively early.
Jamie Dixon is active on the bench, running down to the end of the bench for 2 quick subs, not happy at all with the start on both ends.
Jamie Dixon, year number 6, won NCAA tournament. They've been close. The way this year started, the way conference play started, it looked like they were going to walk to the NCAA tournament, and all of a sudden things have gotten a little choppy, and the finish to this season for them is dreadful.
Well, they also had the good win over LSU in the Big 12 SEC challenge, and that was a convincing win. They're hanging their hat on that right now, but still, the opportunities are going to be there coming down the stretch, but a little bit of a funk. The Miles injury kind of set them back. Still, he does not look like he's in great rhythm yet, but Mike Miles is a dangerous player. I think right now, so far this afternoon, he's been forcing things.
Thamba hadn't been forcing anything. And for Mike Miles, it was Baylor in the first meeting where he injured that right wrist. As you look at his numbers, he's still the 6th leading scorer in the Big 12 Conference, almost 15 points per game. And that's coming after just a few on Tuesday. Here's Miles, Akinjo all over him, and it's another turnover. Bonner has another steal. Contact, a miss, but Dale Bonner will go to the line.
TCU could not have a worse start on the offensive end. You see they're running their offense going the wrong way. They're pulling it out and passing the ball from the wing back to half court. They need to attack. They need to get the ball inside. They need to go through Lampkin, get him the ball some touches on the box. Instead, he's floating out on the perimeter, and Baylor is taking advantage with the overplay and aggressive defense.
Bonner hits the first one. The junior from Shaker Heights, Ohio, Fairmont State transfer, Division II. They've had some luck in the lower divisions. Freddie Gillespie was the D3 transfer that turned out to be tremendous in the COVID year. He was hoping to be a part of a national championship team. They get Bonner this year, who really was probably supposed to redshirt, and because of injuries has stepped into a role on this team.
Kinjo down and dirty with the stance, guarding Miles on the perimeter.
Peavy, Farabello. Great defense so far from Baylor. Lampkin wants it, and here we go. Eddie Lampkin over the top, and he has been really good lately. Over the last 5 games, almost 12 points per game. He's basically averaging a double-double.
Well, that's where Lampkin belongs, not 25 feet from the basket, handling the ball out of the perimeter. He is big and strong. He needs to get on the box, and they need to feed him.
Kendall Brown. Matthew Meyer, contested 3. Rims out, and rebound TCU. Some contact underneath, and they get a flop warning on Flo Thamba. So the next one will be a technical foul on Baylor. Him and Lampkin exchanging some words. I wouldn't want to get in between those two.
Well, anytime Eddie Lampkin puts his arm in front of you, and that, my friend, is not a flop. That is a forearm shiver to the chest. Well, Lampkin doesn't fool around. He doesn't just hit you with one finger at 270 pounds. Puts that arm and body into you, you're going to fall down.
If he hit me, it would only take one finger. Farabello, wraparound feed, Doumbia. He kind of took it back to Sochan. Offensive rebound. That's something to watch today. Emmanuel Miller getting on the offensive boards.
Well, good adjustment by Jamie Dixon, telling his team, let's get the ball inside. Stop running our offense 30 feet from the basket. Penetrate, kick, and get it into the box.
Something they did not do down the stretch. Lampkin had 16 against Iowa State Tuesday. They really did not get it to him a lot down the stretch. Akinjo, no. TCU on a 4-0 run, but another turnover. Dale Bonner ties his season high for steals with 3 in the first 4.5 minutes. Meyer, good take, can't get the roll, but does get the offensive rebound and finish.
Now Matthew Meyer, perpetual motion. Flies down the end of the court, down to the corner, and a little pump fake, old school, gets to the rim, but stays with the play.
Micah Peavy, the Texas Tech transfer. Inside, Doumbia to the hoop, and it rims out. It was point blank. They've got to have those.
He got caught a little bit under the rim. Couldn't find the right angle to put it home.
Backdoor cut, Kendall Brown. Bears students love it. Baylor opens an 11-4 lead in the first 5 minutes. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy. It's the one when you got to get stuff done. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Back in Waco, Baylor leading TCU 11-4. We are courtside at the Farrell Center. Alongside the former coach Tim Welsh, I'm Chucky Kemp. First 5 minutes, Tim, what do you think?
Well, TCU's out of sorts, and some of it's self-inflicted, but most of it's been because Baylor came out of the gates ready to attack on both ends. Really great defense, everybody down in the stance, active on the basketball, forcing turnovers, getting out in transition, and in the half court, really doing a good job of spacing the floor, sharing the basketball. Kinjo's doing a terrific job of not forcing the issue. I mean, he's a scoring point guard, but he's early today. He's got everybody involved in the offense.
Such control over the game. Eddie Lampkin back in for TCU. 4 TCU turnovers, none for Baylor. Horned Frogs continue to have issues taking care of the basketball. Mike Miles on the TCU bench right now. Here's Lampkin. Lampkin looking for help. Kicks it out, Chuck O'Bannon, 5 to shoot, Farabello. Inside, wraps it too low, it's another steal. They'll whistle it for a shot clock violation first, and Mike Miles instantly off the TCU bench.
Well, Baylor should have been allowed to run out in transition. They clearly had the ball before the shot clock expired, but I think Scott Drew minds it. This is another really, really good defensive set for Baylor.
He is always positive. So shoot around this morning. They've got about 9 guys there with everybody they have out. They have 2 walk-ons that got injured. He said the one positive about only having 9 guys is free throws go quick. They did their free throw drill and moved on quickly to the next segment of shoot around.
And you don't have to make a lot of decisions as a coach either. Who's going to play the minutes rotation? It's pretty tight. And obviously they need everybody back. But again, this has been the story so far today of just Baylor's ability just to crack that seal of the TCU defense on the perimeter and then drive in and kick to the open man.
Flo Thamba coming off 7 points, 9 rebounds against Texas Tech. I mentioned he's playing some big minutes right now. 27 and 30 in the last 2 games. So both top 3 for the season. And that will most likely not change as the season rolls on. (12-4) for Baylor. For TCU, it's been an issue all year scoring the basketball consistently, certainly in Big 12 play. O'Bannon rises up and misses. Great feed from Sochan, a little low. Kendall Brown catches, and what a fadeaway from Kendall Brown.
When it rains, it pours. They get back. Pass wasn't delivered properly, but Brown stays with it and a little off-balance floater.
7-0 run for Baylor. What has to change at this end for the Horned Frogs?
Well, they've got to get the ball inside the three-point line. They're running their offense about 30 feet from the basket, and they're just passing out, and they're not getting any traction trying to penetrate into the defense. And when they do, that's what happens.
Flo Thamba's 28th block of the season leads the Bears.
Miles does a good job, just kind of puts his head down, but there's nothing there. They're not making that over the big fella. He's protecting and resisting.
The lone returning starter from last year's national championship team. Baugh, Miller has options. Mike Miles open, and Miles hits the 3.
Well, that's what has to happen. They have to find out how to get him open, and that time Baylor overhelped on the dribble drive into the gap. They need to stay home with Miles.
Teams have made it really difficult for him. Baylor has done really good early on. First 3 of the game for either team. Get a foul underneath on Flo Thamba.
This is Mike Miles, what they have to do. You see a little bit on the overhelp. They double team the ball. Sochan left Miles open, trapped the ball at the foul line, and that's basically what Miles needs. Just need a little confidence just to get himself going.
So Baylor goes a little small here. Jeremy Sochan is now the 5. Lampkin has a considerable weight advantage on him.
Lampton's got to do a better job, though, carving out space and getting down low, just demanding the ball against Sochan.
Wanted it from Ball, but it's a turnover.
And one of the reasons they're not getting the ball inside is because Lampton's not really working hard enough to get open. On that possession, he did. But the pressure on the perimeter is so great that they have no vision to get the ball inside. And that time, Meyer was all over.
You said it, Baylor's keeping them 30 feet from the basket, running their offense. Akinjo shaking. Oh, now Akinjo likes this matchup. Lampkin guarding him. There it is, steps back. TCU got away with one there.
Well, you knew he was going to take that shot. He just started seeing points with Lampkin guarding him. Sochan and Brown are so active, and along with Meyer, they're a little bit undersized to play that 4 spot, but they're very active with their hands. They get out on the perimeter, and they're relentless with their pressure.
Sochan right there guarding Eddie Lampkin. Sochan weighs in at about 230. Lampkin at 265, 270. Manuel Miller, tough floater, tipped away, and it should belong with TCU. 7 to shoot. Rough start for Jamie Dixon's crew. Down 7 in Waco. Columbia before number 12 Tennessee and number 1 South Carolina tomorrow. Star-studded crew: Ellie Duncan, Carolyn Peck, Stephanie White, Holly Rowe, Andrea Carter, Dawn Staley on. Great show before that one kicks off. 1 Eastern on ABC.
Well, the women's tournament is going to be tremendous this year. Watch out for UConn still. They're not dead yet.
Always.
Saw a little 32-0 run they had last night against Xavier.
College game day comes here next week for Baylor and Kansas, as you see Micah Peavy get TCU on the board.
That's what they need, though. They need to space the court, reverse the ball, and then try to attack the gaps and try to get the ball up on the rim. They're making too many contested passes in the half court.
Xavier Cork called for the foul on Jeremy Sochan. James Akinjo back in for Baylor.
And Scott Druitt has to be more than happy at this point. He's got Jordan Turner in the game, who's played a total of 9 minutes in 2 conference games so far all season long, but he's had to go deep down into his bench because of the injuries.
The defense by Miles. Sochan over the top. Oh, great shot. Jeremy Sochan, the 3-star recruit out of England.
Real good defense, but better offense by Sochan.
They might have something special in Jeremy Sochan. A lot of talk about Kendall Brown, and rightfully so, the 5-star, but Jeremy Sochan looks the part. Peavy spinning on Brown. Oh, a lot of contact right there. 2 shots coming up for Peavy.
Well, Sochan, the high degree of difficulty, a little up and under, nothing there. Miles contests, but over the top, too much size.
You mentioned it. They're not really that big to play the 4 and 5, but they do get some mismatches other places when they're at the 2 and 3 spots. Full day of college hoops today on ESPN and the app. It starts at noon Eastern. These are our final 3 games. 6 Eastern, Paulo Banchero, number 9 Duke hosting Florida State at Cameron Indoor. Then it's number 6 Kansas in Morgantown taking on West Virginia. And at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, number 3 Arizona hosts Oregon in our West Coast primetime game. Big day of hoops. Kansas goes to Morgantown. Bob Huggins named Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame finalist for the class of 2022.
Also good to see Coach K. Looks like he's back up and running and after that little health scare. And there's Akinjo.
Splitting the defense. 5 of their last 6 from the field now.
I like that he has not forced the issue today. He's just kind of taking what the defense gives him. And that time, the defense wasn't set to defend.
Peavy hits the bucket and 1 chance for Micah Peavy.
And this is what Jamie Dixon needs. Peavy, a wing player to break the defense down. The guards have had trouble, but Meyer a little bit overplays, tried to keep him on the sideline, but too high up on his left shoulder. And Peavy took advantage. He saw that little gap. Good balance in the lane.
Micah Peavy already with 6, which is above his season average. Lead back to 4.
1-2-2 soft pressure to go back to man. They're just trying to take some time off the clock.
You see Jordan Turner in the game for Baylor. Sophomore from Houston, Texas, played in 12 games last year off the bench. She's played in 9 this year. Long pass from Lampkin. Out in front, a lot of athletes chasing Miles, but he gets it up and in.
The elevation, and that time McKinzel over-penetrated to the rim and nobody rotated back on defense.
That pressure again from TCU. Sochan, corner 3, Meyer. Offensive rebound, Thamba. Ooh, contested 3. Meyer airballed it.
That time Baylor never got organized on the offensive end. And here you'll see Akinjo, he over-penetrates, and when the point guard drives in from the top, somebody on one of the wings has got to rotate back, and no one did, and Miles elevated at the rim.
TCU 3 for their last 3 from the field. The offense finally settling in. Inside, Peavy. Left hand, no. Thamba rebound.
A nice cut from the wing by Peavy, but he just never got himself balanced to get an eye on the rim.
Kinjo. Sochan!
Jamie Dixon just shaking his head because they were not organized. They weren't matched up on Sochan. Nobody was guarding him.
They found that a few times today, too. It wasn't the first time they've found a runner to the back door. Peavy kicks it out, almost taken away by Kendall Brown.
What's happening is at times TCU is switching on defense, but they're not communicating their switches, and sometimes 2 guys defend 1, leaving Sochan wide open.
Here's Mike Miles, and out of bounds, turnover. That is the 7th turnover on Baylor in the first 11 minutes. Do you have any turnover-prone teams in your days as a coach?
Oh, absolutely. When you play these tough defensive teams, but you've got to be tighter. You've got to be tighter with your stuff. And you know, TCU, they seem a little bit out of sync running their stuff. They're doing a good job, a better job of penetrating, but they're not getting anything out of their basic sets.
Sochan on Miller. Kendall Brown. 8 to shoot. Akinjo. Contested 3. Out. Lampkin rebound.
Really good defense by TCU on that possession. Gave great help, contested the shot, blocked out.
Peavy, elbow jumper, no, and rebound, Kendall Brown. Here come the Bears. Brown, Sochan, over the top, blocking foul called, count the bucket.
I thought Sochan was maybe running too tight a lane. You see they're almost right together, but Brown does a great job just giving him the ball where he can make that one-step hop to the rim, and TCU just a touch late to draw the charge.
Block or charge there? Good call?
That was a good call. Miles was not set. And he may have been, I don't know, I couldn't see the official. I don't know if he pointed to the restricted area, but it really didn't matter because he never was in a legal guarding position.
Baylor's lead back to 7. TCU scoring drought over 2 minutes and 15 seconds now. "15 seconds gone by this possession. They haven't done much." Farabello, Lampkin, 6 to shoot. Lampkin, pump fake. Lampkin, hands off Miller. Charge called. That was brave of James Akinjo. 190, about 70 pounds more coming downhill. And already 9 Big Ten teams in. In the Big 12 right now, it's 7, and both of our teams today, Tim, are included in that. Baylor, obviously, they're comfortably in. They're going to be a 3 seed as of right now. TCU, though, a 10 seed. They have a brutal schedule to finish out, which really starts today in Waco. They get West Virginia at home on Monday. Everybody else is either ranked or they're in Morgantown once. They got to find one somewhere.
TCU not feeling great about life. Neither is Oklahoma or Iowa State. They're in position and they have the opportunity, but they've got to continue to get some wins because nobody's in out of that 3 yet. And they're all on the bubble, but they're all very good teams.
For Baylor, it'll be tough finish to the season if they can't get healthy. You saw just a moment ago Jonathan Chachua, who suffered the gruesome knee injury last Saturday right here in Waco against Texas. He will be out for the season. He had surgery this week. And there's the picture of him after surgery, and they said he's in good spirits. If you talk to anybody around the program, they will praise his attitude, his positivity. And it's got to be tough for him to sit over there and watch, but the recovery begins, and said he's ready to take it on.
You got a roaring sound of applause and cheers from the fans when they showed him on the video board, and every day John plays the game the right way.
Ball belongs with Baylor as the Bears have a 7-point lead. And if you joined us late, Adam Flagler out, LJ Cryer out. We just talked about Jonathan Chachua. 2 walk-ons out, 1 dislocated an ankle this week. That right there on the right is Langston Love, a 4-star recruit who was injured in a preseason scrimmage. His brother Kajana Love, who is sitting next to him, is one of the walk-ons who is out right now. Sochan, contested 3, and rims out. Thamba, offensive rebound. Finjo against Miller, right around him. Tries to hand it off, but stolen away.
Finjo got caught under the rim, was nowhere to go, and just tried to flip it up over his head. But Thamba said a really nice pick for him. He should have just went up on the left side and laid it in.
Turnover margin big right now. Baylor +6. TCU has 8 turnovers already in this game. Farabello, 6 to shoot. Wraps it around. Lampkin goes up, and it rims off. He is fouled, so 2 shots coming up for Eddie Lampkin.
Lampkin's doing a very good job just working without the basketball. He's moving. He's not a stationary target. He's a big target, as we know. That time he should probably just went straight up with it. Good hands, though, on the box.
TCU's missed a couple point blank. There's the last 5 for Eddie Lampkin. 11.5 points, 9 rebounds. He had 16 against Iowa State, which was a career high. He got up over 330 pounds last year when he was a freshman. He's worked his way down into the 265, 270 range.
Well, you can just see his improved stamina out there on the court, not only defensively and moving without the ball in the half court, but running up and down the floor. He's doing a very good job of getting back and battling Thamba. There you go.
It is. September of 2020 to July of 2021. And you're seeing he has the skill set. He could be a really good player. He's been really good the last 5, but think about the development we've seen in such a short period of time. And you know this, Tim, talking to coaches, during COVID, it's been a lot more difficult than it would be in a normal year to be with these guys and develop these guys, and coming back to some form of normality, still a challenge for these coaches.
No, you got to give Lampkin all the credit in the world and the training staff as well. He's lost the weight, but he's still physically very strong. He's got the big shoulders and soft hands.
But don't forget the women's hoops matchup tomorrow afternoon. It's on ABC and the ESPN app. The top 2 teams in the SEC, Aaliyah Boston and #1 South Carolina, hosting Jordan Horston and the 12th-ranked Lady Vols. The Gamecocks have won 4 of the last 5 against the Lady Vols. Our coverage begins at 1 Eastern. Dawn Staley. So impressive what she's done in Columbia, South Carolina. Program with staying power. bench to lead the way for Jeremy Sochan.
Miles on the bench. Let's see where they look to go. Peavy's been very active and aggressive on that wing against Meyer.
Here is Peavy. Akinjo guarding. Jacoby Coles in the game. Mid-range jumper for Coles. Short offensive rebound. Damian Ball. Elbow jumper. That's off the mark. Lampkin. They get an offensive foul called against Jacoby Coles on the rebound. His first.
Coles took that little jumper, that mid-range, and not a bad move, except that he drove right into traffic on the box as Lampkin had real good low post position. They need to keep feeding him with Baylor's lack of depth. I would try to go inside as often as you can to try to get them in some foul trouble.
That's what happened at Texas Tech. Sochan got 2, Thamba got 2. Something at the monitor. Jamie Dixon was talking to the officiating crew.
They're just checking on who was fouled on that over the back. Make sure it was Bonner.
They were hoping it might have been Thamba or somebody a little less efficient at the free throw line. Instead, it's Dale Bonner.
Now, Bonner's been very efficient. You know, he's played in a lot of games, obviously, all year long, and he certainly belongs, but very cool customer. Him and Akinjo have done a great job, not only running the offense, but defensively just harassing TCU on the perimeter.
Bonner coming into the game today had scored 68 points on the season. 40 of those had come in the last 7 games. Stepped into a much larger role, and like you said, he's been good.
From a Division II to one of the elite programs in America. That is a huge jump, obviously.
9-1 run, the largest lead of the game for Baylor. Peavy, Coles, they miss another one. That's the 3rd point-blank layup that TCU has missed. Bonner, Meyer, floater's good.
Great job by Bonner. Kept his dribble under control. Never had any idea to shoot the ball. He was going to make pass that, and Meyer cut to the rim. Well, they've been a little bit more active on the offensive end, but you got to give Baylor's defense all the credit in the world. They're doing some switching on that last possession. They got caught off guard and didn't switch properly right at the rim, but Baylor's bigs are taking their eye off the target. They're just kind of getting up in the air, then they're eyeing the rim at the last second. That's why they've missed those easy ones.
On to Lampkin, extra pass Miller, over the top. That's a tough finish, and it does go.
Nice play by Lampkin. No, just had his head up and felt a little bit of pressure and knew that Miller was open on the weak side.
Peavy gets the Akinjo duty. Floater in the lane. Well, that is almost automatic, too. Akinjo misses. Ball wraps it into Emmanuel Miller. Looking. And Miller stripped away. Kind of shuffled his feet. Looked like he might have traveled. Gets it back. It's a circus possession, but they'll take 2.
Miller just stuck with it. He kind of got himself into trouble, dribbling the ball into traffic, but stayed with it.
Meyer. And now Akinjo. Sochan. He's been really good. Nice feed. Bonner, 3. Short. Rebound Miller.
Bonner's not really a three-point shooter, but when you're open like that, you've got to be able to knock it down.
Here's Lampkin. And now Mike Miles driving. Miller. Good cut from Peavy. Kicks it out, open 3. Short, rebound Sochan.
There's not much more you can ask Jamie Dixon, except these guys have to get their feet set and knock these shots down. They missed a ton of open looks.
Meyer backdoor. Nice hands by Eddie Lampkin to steal it away.
A little too tight in there by Meyer. He's been better served shooting the ball.
Miller inside, left hand. That will be goaltending. And they just got another flop warning on Dale Bonner. ESPN's exclusive presentation with what Baylor is missing, but right now it's a technical free throw for Mike Miles. There was a technical foul issued against Dale Bonner for the second flop warning of the game against Baylor. Miles misses the free throw. Ray Natili came over and told us it's the first time they've done it all year on one of his crews. First time I've seen it all year. Seen the flop warning, but not both of them called in the same game to get to the technical foul.
Well, it's in the rule book, so you must call it. So I'm not sure the officials love that rule, but on we go.
Almost taken away. Scrum for it on the ground. Meyer comes up with it. Thamba. Kendall Brown. And can't get the finish. Back to Brown. Another try and it rims out. Scott Drew might have that rim inspected after this game, the way it's gone in and out so many times against Baylor.
TCU was fighting relentlessly, but Baylor kept at it, just couldn't get it to go down. Not pretty.
6-0 run for TCU. It's their largest run of the game, and the lead is down to 6. 8 to shoot. Miles tucks it. Contact. Whistle against James Akinjo. It's his first foul.
That's not a smart foul by Akinjo because Miles was out of control. Brown had him under control. He just playing on the side, and Thamba was ready to help, but Akinjo came in from the perimeter and just reached in.
Back into the game for TCU, number 4, Eddie Lampkin. And back into the game for your Bears, number 1, Jeremy Sochan.
Sochan back in for Thamba. This is that small lineup that we discussed earlier. 1:57 left. Baylor takes a timeout. Have you seen the response you want from TCU? We'll talk about that when we come back. 30-second timeout here in Waco. What you've seen from TCU in response since that point?
Well, TCU, they came out kind of on their heels, and they weren't ready for the first wave of attack on both ends of the floor by Baylor, especially on the defensive end. But they've settled down, especially on defense. They've done a much better job of protecting the paint, of rebounding basketball, getting out in transition. Their half-court offense still is not totally in sync, but mostly that's been caused by Baylor's length and their switching on the perimeter.
Mike Miles thought he got a timeout, but it's a turnover instead, the 9th of the game on TCU.
Well, you can draw up every play in the book, but you've got to get open. You've got to somehow, some way get the ball inbound, especially coming out of a timeout, a bad error by Baylor, by TCU.
Sochan against Lampkin. Trying to fade around Lampkin. Left hand from Sochan.
That's what you call a Euro step from the European. Up and under the little half slide step with the left.
What a move by Sochan, who has 11 now. Peavy. Bounce pass. Lampkin on the ground. I believe they pointed in the direction of TCU.
Well, Lampkin, he has played hard-nosed basketball today so far. He's just putting his body on the line, and here he just gets on the floor. Just don't land on anyone.
That's what Matt Meyer was worried about, him leaning on Sochan. We got enough problems with the injury bug. Cannot inbound it again. Too high for Sochan, trying to run it down, and does. What a save. Miller hits it right back to Brown. Akinjo along the baseline. Kendall Brown just floats in the air.
Well, half the possession's the Bad News Bears. The other half, it's the Baylor Bears. Disjointed offense by accident, but tenacious intensity.
Miller, no good, tipped out and ran down by Brown. Kendall Brown flips it in, Peavy saves it, and now it's just a mad chase. There's an injury at the other end. Eddie Lampkin holding his right leg. He is in serious pain. Jamie Dixon and the training staff out to check on Eddie Lampkin.
Goodness, just a week removed from a bad injury to JTT, and let's just hope Lampkin is banged up and not injured.
It's his right leg that he was holding when he went down originally. He is an absolute fan favorite. His teammates love him. High energy. And this is tough to see for Eddie Lampkin.
And he has played his absolute heart out this afternoon. Just gets tangled up on the... He's been involved in almost every situation around the rim and just comes down awkwardly.
It's tough to see. It almost looked like he was going to get fallen on, and then he avoided that. And when he goes up for this jump and lands, he goes straight down, holding that right knee. Just 30 seconds left, and you said it, Jonathan Tchamwa goes down with a non-contact injury last Saturday against Texas. Just in the middle of the floor trying to get back, took a wrong step. Eddie Lampkin not putting any pressure on that right leg. They're going to take him straight to the locker room, and now he is putting that foot down just a little bit.
Well, Chuck, having covered this conference for many years, just the respect level that these programs all have for each other. You can see it here with the fan base here. Not only the TCU medical staff helping, but TCU Baylor players, Baylor medical staff surrounding Eddie Lampkin as well. And let's just hope it's not serious.
It looked like Jonathan Tchamwa, who's there on the left on the crutches, said something to him on the way by. He knows all too well about knee injuries. Hopefully Lampkin's isn't nearly as serious as what JTT went through this week when he had surgery to repair multiple ligaments in that left knee. Well, now back to basketball after that. Can TCU get focused and try to find a way back in hostile territory?
A good job by Baylor with Lampkin not in the game. TCU doesn't have anyone, so to speak, that's a low post threat. So they sent the double right at Miles, knowing that TCU at the end of the clock likes to run that high ball screen for Miles, let him get in the gap or come off the screen firing for a three.
14.5 seconds remain. Miles floats it too strong, and Baylor ball with 6.5 to go.
Baylor did a really good job just containing Miles, never letting him turn the corner for an open look, and then sent the second defender at him as he rose up for the shot.
Defense for offense right here as Farabello and Coles go off for Cork and Peavy. 6.5 seconds to Akinjo. Screen from Thamba. Akinjo into the lane, kicks it out. Sochan got it off. No good.
Well executed by Baylor. Made the extra pass to the open man in the corner, and Baylor's defense has been the story all afternoon.
Jeremy Sochan leads everybody with 11, and Baylor has a 10-point lead in Waco over the TCU Horned Frogs. Let's go to the studio, the halftime report with Zubin and Malcolm.
All right,
Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. At the Farrell Center in Waco, Texas, Baylor leading TCU 33-23 at halftime. He's Tim Welsh, I'm Chucky Kemp. Baylor's shorthanded, no secret. They've got 3 big guys out today. They have a 10-point lead. How'd they do it?
Well, they did it with defense, and they came out early and often, pressured TCU on the perimeter, denied on the wing, active on the glass, really played toe-to-toe with TCU on the glass, which is difficult to do. And then offensively, you know, they shared the ball. They weren't that pretty themselves in the half court, but they were efficient. They got up on the glass, and Jeremy Sochan, an array of moves, cutting, running in transition, the left hand, and Emmanuel Miller for TCU, really one of the bright spots, who's active in the paint. He got the ball up on the glass, stayed with it, the second and third effort, and they must continue to get the ball inside. And we'll see what happens with Lampkin.
Eddie Lampkin, we thought he'd be done. Just almost carried off the floor, and he came out for warm-ups in the second half with a knee brace on his right knee. It's definitely hurting him right now. I don't know that we'll see him a lot in the second half, but you have to, as a teammate and as a coach, I would think, appreciate a guy who wants to be out here that badly.
Well, that's absolutely inspiring, because it could have been devastating, and we still don't know the extent of it, but obviously him being out here means that it's not horrible. Hopefully he stretch it out. Maybe we can see him again today, but the good news is he walked out on his own.
Chuck O'Bannon back in for TCU. He only played 8 minutes in the first half. Xavier Cork will start as the big for the Horned Frogs. What do you want to see from TCU first 5 minutes?
Well, TCU's got to come out and get up on the glass, defend, and not let that happen.
That's tough to stop, because Akinjo is just nasty when he gets going downhill.
He's just got that quick crossover with great body balance.
He only has 4 points, and Baylor leads by 12. Ball floater, rims out. Gets the rebound. He had Mike Miles out for a 3, and instead a contested layup. That's probably not the look they wanted there.
You got to turn and pitch it back outside. You got to find the open man. That's how you can get those 3-point shooters open. That's what they need to do to get Miles in some sort of rhythm.
Akinjo up top. Brown flushes it.
You could see that play all the way from Dallas. That was coming. That was a slow-moving play, and TCU got caught off guard, not pressuring the basketball, allowing the lob over the top.
14-point lead, the largest of the game for Baylor. Into Miller. He traveled. 11 TCU turnovers.
And he wanted a travel on that play, but you see there, Akinjo, that was just a free, easy pass. That's like Pat Mahomes in the pocket with 10 seconds to throw. You're going to find somebody open.
Meyer leaned into it. 3 shots coming up for Matt Meyer. He had to open old wounds on me there, bringing up Pat Mahomes now.
You know, I saw him at the Texas Tech game the other night, so he brought back some memories. He's going to follow his Raiders down the stretch. It's a good follow.
Tomorrow afternoon, some of the top teams in the American Athletic Conference are featured in our men's basketball doubleheader. Number 14, Houston, taking on Wichita State at 1 Eastern. And it's Penny Hardaway and Memphis, who have won 6 straight. They've got SMU at Moody Coliseum, both games on ESPN and the app. And there's a chase at the top of the American. Houston, SMU, Memphis, all right there, fighting for a regular season championship in that conference.
Well, Joey Brackets has 2 teams from the American in right now, in Memphis and Houston, with SMU lurking. So obviously a big game for Memphis to keep the momentum going, but SMU is a good basketball team. And Kendrick Davis, a terrific point guard, an ex-TCU point guard who has been flourishing at SMU.
And it has to be painful for TCU fans to see how good he has been at SMU. The Horned Frogs have to figure it out quickly. They are down 16 to Baylor. Two minutes scoreless here in the second half. Cork inside, dunks it right in front of Thamba.
Cork did a good job of posting up, and good quick footwork, no wasted motion.
Well, it's an opportunity certainly for Xavier Cork and maybe Jacoby Coles to iron a bigger part of a rotation out for themselves.
I think Mike Miles has to be a little bit selfish right now. I think he's got to try to go look for his own shot just to get himself going, and maybe that will free up some of his teammates if he gets going first.
They snapped a 10-0 run on the last possession into Cork. Miles, 3-ball. And rims out, rebound off of Kendall Brown.
Well, without Eddie Lampkin in, there's really not a lot of post presence down low, but Cork showing that he has that ability. Nice post up and drop step.
A one-step gather with Flo Thamba on his hip to a dunk. O'Bannon, no, tipped away, foul on Cork.
This has not been one of Chuck O'Bannon's best days so far, but Dixon going back with him because he certainly has a lot of talent. He has that ability to put up points quickly.
Talked about Miles struggling against Iowa State. O'Bannon was 0 for 4 from 3 against Iowa State. Two guys, they really can't have an off night on the same night. Kendall Brown spots up. Rebound, Mike Miles.
Good job by Cork defending Meyer out on the perimeter.
Miles inside. Miller, baseline. A reverse layup. Nice move by Emmanuel Miller, who's into double figures.
Well, that all started with Mike Miles just putting his head down, dribble penetrating into the gap, not over penetrating, but making the Baylor defense work.
Bonner. Hands off. I think O'Bannon got a piece of it. And it stays with Baylor.
Bonner's fortunate there. He tried to make something out of nothing. He was going full speed into the paint when the help came. He tried to thread the needle.
Sochan comes in for Meyer. Baylor, oh my goodness! Kendall Brown!
They had a runoff between Kendall Brown and Jeremy Sochan here in Waco for the next mayor of Waco. I think it would be a dead heat tie. They are both tremendous freshmen.
Miles has the answer which they needed because the building was starting to rock a little bit. Kendall Brown, he's been hanging on the rim a few times today. 4 dunks for him in the game. Akinjo!
That's just way too easy. Akinjo is a tough out on the perimeter, as we know, but the help's got to come much sooner, not let him get a clean look all the way at the rim.
Cork tip by Thamba. And here goes Kendall Brown. Emmanuel Miller fouls him. Intentional foul called against Emmanuel Miller. Baylor has a 14-point lead with 15:30 to play. ESPN's Kessler also on that team. They're pretty good, but their last win in Gainesville was in 1996. So Auburn, Florida, coming up 2 Eastern on ESPN.
Yeah, Walker Kessler's been outstanding, and he looks like a different player from when he was at North Carolina. And got the intentional foul because Miller did not make a play on the ball, and Kendall Brown was racing up the court.
Kendall Brown, 4 dunks today to add to his total of 38. He was a top 20 recruit in the ESPN 100. Their 4th 5-star recruit in program history. He was the first preseason Big 12 preseason Big 12 Freshman of the Year in program history for Baylor. Rebound Miller, and he is fouled by Kendall Brown. Kendall Brown, the freshman from Minnesota. There's the guy who's got next at Baylor. And they are excited to watch Keontae George. He's the number 3 ranked player in the ESPN 100. Paul Biancardi is super high on Keontae George. Said he is the best shooting guard in the class of 2022. We've seen what Scott Drew and his staff can do with good guards. They can win national championships, and they've got plenty more coming.
Last possession, TCU went into a 2-3 zone, and never got organized on that possession. Sochan just has unbelievable body control, can change direction in midair.
Sochan has 13 to lead all scorers. Miles with the floater. He has 9 now. He's been better as this game's moved on, and they'll be happy to see that, but it's been so far in an effort that sees him down 16.
Well, he's doing a better job moving without the basketball, so he's a moving target. If he's stationary on the perimeter, Baylor is not leaving him, but he's got to keep moving through the defense.
Kinjo working on Miller. Back to work, reverse layup, no good. Offensive rebound and a foul called on Miller. Flo Thamba to the line.
TCU foul, number 2, Emmanuel Miller, his second, 4th team foul.
Another full day of hoops going on right now. The first one at 6 Eastern, Paulo Banchero and number 9 Duke taking on Florida State at Cameron Indoor. And a Big 12 matchup. Number 6 Kansas goes to Morgantown to take on Bob Huggins' crew. West Virginia Mountaineers. And at 10 Eastern, West Coast primetime game. Number 3 Arizona hosting Oregon. Big day of hoops on ESPN and the app.
Saw the boys set up early out in Arizona this morning.
You were up doing your running, which I don't do much of as we look at bracket talk.
I'm sure Jay Billis didn't go watch basketball after he left that studio hit right to the golf course.
Okay. Joe Lunardi's 1 and 2 seeds. Kansas last on the number 1 line. Texas Tech down on the 2 line. Baylor is right behind them as a 3 seed. Work to do for TCU.
Great help by Baylor. Active with their hands, closing in on the dribbler.
Are you surprised at all how good they've been defensively with all that they're missing?
Not surprised at all. I thought their defense would stay rock solid, but they've really done a good job of rebounding by committee. And with Sochan and Brown out there, they're just so long and active, they can continue to switch 1 through 4.
TCU 4 of their last 5 from the field. They need stops. Kinjo shaking. Missed it at the rim. Now he got tipped. Peavy and went off the foot of Bonner. This lineup we see right now, Thamba's out there with Meyer and Sochan. There will come a time when Flo Thamba gets in foul trouble, which we saw at Texas Tech. Now they went with Zach Loveday, the other big. We've seen today them go with a little bit of a smaller lineup. And that is something that we'll probably see more of as the season goes on. We'll talk about that more when we come back. 13:09 to play in the second half in Waco. Almost 1,200 wins, the most in Division I history. 5 NCAA championships, 5-time ACC Coach of the Year, which almost seems low to me with the career he's had.
Only 5 times.
Only 5.
It's like Bill Belichick. He never gets NFL Coach of the Year because he's the best. They always give it to the next level guys.
Yeah.
But he will be missed for sure. As is Roy Williams. Nice to see Roy Williams making the rounds, though, around the country to go to different arenas that he's never been to. I know he visited West Virginia a couple weeks ago. He had never been to Morgantown. And he was in Cincinnati this week to see his former players, Wes Miller, coach. And good to see old Roy.
Had a nice welcome back at Kansas when he went back to his old school. Sochan fouled by Jacoby Coles. Well, if you're Jamie Dixon in that last huddle, you see Eddie Lampkin back on the court. The right knee, it's almost like a sleeve on his right leg. He had a brace on originally, and now it's off.
Watched him warm up coming out of the locker room at halftime, and he was limping significantly with that brace. And it's good to see him play without it.
Foul on the shot. That's on Coles again. If you're Jamie Dixon in the huddle, you're down 15. What was your message in that last timeout?
Just keep grinding. You got to keep grinding. Maybe try to wear Baylor out, because obviously their lack of depth is an issue, but just got to play better offense. You know, their defense has been good enough. today, TCU, but their offense has been disjointed at best. And Miles seems at times like he can be explosive and still go get his own shot, but I'd like to see him do it a little bit more, even be more aggressive, looking to score.
17-point lead. Jeremy Sochan connects on both of them.
For the big picture, though, it's good news, obviously, that Lampkin is back out on the floor, because that could just be deflating to a team. So give him all the credit in the world for wanting to come back out here.
Calling for it down low, and they didn't get it to him. He's moving pretty well right now. Miller, Peavy tucks it in to Lampkin. The shot did not get up in time. There's a foul on the floor.
Baylor does such a great job of attacking the ball from the weak side with help that it's really hard. You see there's 4 white shirts in there to make an extra pass. If you get the ball in the lane right to the rim, you've got to get it up on the rim.
Miller going baseline. Uses the left hand off the glass to cut it to 15.
Emmanuel Miller has been very active attacking from that wing and baseline area, and to continue to do that, to put the pressure on the Baylor defense, and maybe they'll get some open threes if they overhelp in the lane.
Baylor has only played 7 guys today. Lobs it up. Dropped by Thamba, but he recovers.
Well, that time Lampkin got caught ball watching and lost Thamba behind him.
Handoff, Miller. Right hand, spins it, no. Rebound, Matt Meyer. And they want to run. Back the other direction we go. Damian Baugh quickly, blocked by Meyer.
End-to-end action, just tenacious defense, and Flo Thamba activity over the top. The ability to extend and elevate.
$1 project. Expected in 2024. They will break ground, they're hoping in June, but it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Well, they deserve it. And obviously, they've had a lot of great nights in this building, but Mr. and Mrs. Foster were kind enough to write the check. So away we go. And they've already got the sparkling football stadium on the water across the river, and it's going to be great to not only see Baylor in that building, but Texas will be in a new building as well.
They had a few on the women's side. Scott Drew adds one on the men's side. National champions last year, approaching 400 wins, which is a school record here at Baylor. And they have arrived. We showed Keontae George, the #3 recruit that's coming next year. Kendall Brown, the 4th 5-star in program history, which is on the court right now. Sochan. The list goes on. It's a program that did not just win 1 national title and is going to go away, but it looks like they will stay at an elite level.
Well, they are here to stay. They used to be a nice little Cinderella story, but they are no longer Cinderella. They are the kings. And they can match Kansas and the top teams in the country with elite recruiting, especially with the new arena coming.
Peavy feeds to Miller. He answers after the Sochan bucket. Jeremy Sochan for Baylor today, the freshman from England, has tied a career high with 17. Handoff Meyer in traffic, and he's tied up by Mike Miles. It belongs to TCU.
The thing that makes Baylor so hard to defend and can overcome some of these injuries in the short term is that their forwards are so good at handling the ball. Meyer, Brown, Sochan, not only handling the ball, but moving without the ball. They're just constantly in motion, and they do a great job of finding open seams on the weak side of the defense.
Scott Drew had to get the crowd into it right here. It's a little quiet in the building. He looked around and threw his arms in the air, so let's go. Miller rims out, saved by Sochan. Meyer against Ball and rims in.
Meyer was bound and determined to get to the rim, and he found a way to get open.
O'Bannon fouled on the shot. It's on Sochan, his second. Baylor has their largest lead of the game at 19.
That's really hard to guard a guy that's 6'9" and has long arms and can handle the ball and is wiry but balanced and aggressive to the rim.
I mentioned their ability to handle the ball. You look at Meyer, Kendall Brown, Sochan. They have really similar builds, just long, athletic, really good skill guys.
Well, we just talked about their ability to move without the ball and handle the ball in the offensive end, but defensively, they really take advantage of their length. Not only they're tall, but they're long. They have long arms, they move quickly, and that allows Scott Drew to do a lot of switching. They like to switch 1 through 4. Sometimes when they go to the small lineup, they'll switch 1 through 5.
Do you like the small lineup? I mean, obviously they're going to have to use it. Do you like what you see from this lineup?
Oh, yes. They're really hard to defend. I mean, there's constant motion. Now, the thing is, can you rebound the ball efficiently and effectively? And so far today, they have.
O'Bannon was calling for it in the corner. Now Farabello, long three. No, Peavy guides it in.
Peavy's had a pretty good game today. Sometimes he forces the issue with his passes, but he's been very active on the glass.
Got 9 points, 4 over his average for the season. Still, the Baylor lead is 16. Bonner driving, tipped by Farabello, and it's a turnover. Here comes Ball. Damian Ball, coast to coast.
Dale Bonner's done it a couple times, over-penetrated, kind of driving it into traffic, not knowing where he's going. He's got to be more efficient with the basketball, just kind of be a guy who rotates the ball from side to side with the pass, and Scott Drew is going to discuss.
There's a 5-0 run for TCU, and Scott Drew, like you said, wants to talk things over. 9:09 to play in the second half. Now look who's in town, Jared Butler. They like him here in Waco. Helped deliver the ring.
I don't think they like him in Waco. I think they love him in Waco. They heart him in Waco. I mean, he is a great story, obviously, and showing off the ring. He might get a free dinner tonight in Waco, like you had last night.
Milo? I know you're a fan. I'm certain any of these guys could walk into Milo in Waco, Texas, and probably have it on the house. Davion Mitchell, Jared Butler.
I don't mind paying. I just want to get a table there.
There you go. That's
true.
Well, you got to know David Kay.
But
and Jared Butler,
you know, that's when you can tell how much a player loves the program and how they were treated while they were there. And obviously they had the success, but you see that here all the time. The Baylor players are always coming back after they leave.
And Kinjo's so tough. There's Mark Vidal on the left is Freddie Gillespie, who was a part of the team in 2020 when everything got shut down, and he moved on. Vidal and company closed the deal the next year. Mark Vidal got his ring last week when Texas was in town.
Well, you can't overlook the ability of TCU to rebound the basketball. They're +7 on the season in conference, but today Baylor has gone toe-to-toe with them on the glass.
Kinjo contact. 2 shots coming up for James Akinjo. It's on court. James Akinjo is exactly what Baylor needed. Fits in perfectly. Scott Drew talked to Sean Miller, the former Arizona coach, a number of times before signing Akinjo and asking him, will he fit in here? Will it work? Is he the right guy for us? And Sean Miller had nothing but good things to say. I'd say it's worked pretty good so far.
Well, that's the thing about the portal, that you must use your connections, because obviously it's a different type of recruiting. And you watch all the film in the world that you want to, but you got to do a deep dive into the character, the personality. You know, are they going to fit in with what you want to do as a program on and off the court? And certainly Akinjo has been a welcome addition, but I've seen some players around the country that don't fit in, right? So it's not an exact science, but Akinjo has worked out very well.
He is extra important today, and they are so short-handed without L.J. Cryer, without Adam Flagler. Chamwa Chachua done for the season. Miles off the glass.
That's been few and far between. Miles finding an opening in that defense. Baylor's done a good job containing him, and when he does dribble into the gap, sending that second defender at him.
15 with 8 to go. That's the lead. Akinjo, handoff. Thamba, 2 hands was met by Cork and fouled. That was 2 big bodies meeting very high in the air. Baylor by 15, 7:54 to go in the game. Big 12 teams projected in the field. Kansas State knocking on the door. They are the first team on the next 4 outline. Teams today, Baylor number 3, TCU at 10, Oklahoma at 11. And for TCU and Oklahoma, they're hanging on right now. If TCU loses today, will fall even further onto the bubble. I mean, you've been in these situations trying to secure the NCAA tournament berths. What kind of emotions for the coaching staff? Does it get into the players? Can you see the players starting to feel that pressure of, hey, we're there, but we still have work to do?
No, you have to just keep that all separate in your program. You've got to make sure you just get better every day. You got to keep getting better, because the teams that get better still have that opportunity to change their fate down the stretch.
They have their final 7 games in the next 14 days. It's the 5th toughest schedule in Division I basketball. But 6 of the 7 games are quad 1 opportunities. So it's there, the chance is there.
Right, you've seen it around the country. We saw it last year with Michigan State. They made a late surge. We've seen it this year already with Michigan and Rutgers making a late surge. And clearly one of these teams is going to separate themselves and get off the bubble.
Good look from O'Bannon to Peavy. The lead has been hanging in that 14-point range for quite some time now.
Soft pressure at the half court, but they don't get to Meyer.
Well, that's wide open for Matt Meyer. That's the first 3 they made today. They're 1 for 8 from long range. They lead by 17. It's unbelievable.
Well, they left him wide open, too. They were in the 1-2-2 half-court trap, 3/4 court, but they never got back into their man coverage.
Rolls over the top, offensive rebound, Peavy. Inside O'Bannon, no. Frustration continues for TCU.
Well, Jamie Dixon's going to pull some clips of this game and show his team that you must take advantage of those easy shots at the rim. TCU has missed many opportunities right point blank.
4 or 5 layups in this game. Akinjo slicing, Meyer, 3-ball!
Well, that's the thing again with Sochan and Brown and Meyer. They're constantly moving without the ball, but then when they do take it in traffic, they have their head up and they're always looking for the open man to make the extra pass.
Peavy, he's fouled by Sochan. 2 shots coming up for Micah Peavy. You have to be thrilled if you're Scott Drew, don't you?
Well, you do, just with Sochan's ability to twist and turn with his head up, and TCU not rotating enough on the backside. There's no reason to leave your man, and Sochan's kind of just doing a deep dive into the lane, but the old days of position basketball is over for Baylor. I mean, watch this game, it's hard to tell what position Sochan plays, or Meyer, or Brown. They're all over the court. They're out in the wing, they're at the top of the key, they're in the corner, they're down in the box.
Peavy 1 for 2 despite the students from Baylor going crazy behind the rim. Peavy called for the foul on Akinjo. Micah's got the last 5 points for TCU. He's been a bright spot. Emmanuel Miller's been good offensively. Mike Miles has 11. He hasn't been extremely efficient.
Well, it's mostly because Baylor's defense has loaded up on Mike Miles. You know, they're overplaying him, they're pressuring him out on the perimeter, and then when he does get into the gap, they're really sending a lot of help at him with length. You know, they'll send a Brown or a Sochan or a Meyer at him, and at 6'8", 6'9", it's hard for Miles to free himself up.
Mike Miles, almost 15 a game, still one of the top 5 scorers in the conference. He's had some struggles, and Iowa State, similarly on Tuesday, really just wanted to smother him. And Iowa State, with those guards they have, Brockington, Hunter, Kalsher, things can be difficult.
Well, one thing one of the ways Miles really gets going is in transition, and Baylor's done a very good job tonight of running back and getting their defense set and not letting TCU get numbers in transition.
Miles mid-range is short. Rebound Sochan. This looks like he's playing confidently right now. This guy's always confident, Akinjo. Akinjo gets corked. Mismatch underneath, mismatch for James Akinjo. Kendall Brown mid-range. Cork skips it. Ball open for three. Hits that one. They missed a couple open looks earlier.
That's a good job by TCU on the offensive end. Times tonight they've just drove into the gap and tried to force an extra pass right in front of the rim. And that time, the driving kick, they had the opportunity on the perimeter.
Akinjo, just such tight handles. Baylor looking for their 22nd win. It'd be their 10th conference win in Big 12 play. It would mean double-digit Big 12 wins in 7 of the last 8 years. So yeah, the national championship came last year. They were the #1 ranked team in the year COVID shut everything down at times. But this has been building, and Scott Drew has shown that this is a consistent winner even before those last couple years. And they're well on their way today with a 16-point lead and 3:05 to play here on ESPN. Back in Waco, Baylor leading, and they got 5 guys in double figures today without 3 of their top players. Sochan leads the way, which tied a career high with 17. Meyer was 16. Brown, Akinjo, Thamba, it's just been a group effort. It's been really impressive, just the complete effort from Baylor on the defensive end, on the offensive end, getting really good looks at the rim all day.
Well, it started with their defense right out of the hopper because of the fact that they just got out. Again, TCU forced the issue early with the turnovers, established themselves on the glass, that they were going to be here all afternoon long, and just offense sharing the basketball. Akinjo at times, when you watch him, he gets going, he's in a rhythm, he's almost unstoppable as a scorer, but today he's done a really good job of distributing and going at times and knowing when to go and when to slow and get everybody else involved.
He has been that guy for them all year long. Talked about the guys that are missing today. Akinjo's missed some time. Sochan's missed some time. It's not just been the ones that are out today in and out. It's been a complete season of issues getting a full team on the court for Baylor as far as having all their key guys healthy at the same time. I'd say they've dealt with it pretty well, though, at 21-5 on the season, and still a chance to go chase a Big 12 regular season championship.
Well, defense travels, as we know, and you've got to play it in this league, and you have to be physical with your defense, and that's what Baylor has been. And TCU has played hard today as well. They just haven't had enough offensive efficiency out there on the floor. They just forced the issue early with some passes, and Miles at times has been good and aggressive, but at other times he kind of has just let the game come to him instead of attacking.
TCU 3 for their last 3 from the field. Got to keep it going. That's a good high percentage bucket. Miles to Miller.
Emmanuel Miller.
So whistle, and now a conversation between Jamie Dixon and one of our officials.
Good job by Miles with his head up. And Miller has been active. He and Peavy have been bright spots offensively for TCU.
Just over 2 to play. The lead has been as high as 20 for Baylor. Rebound Peavy. TCU need buckets in a hurry. Mike Miles thought about it, instead driving. Up, no, Cork with the putback and a foul called. They'll count the bucket. This could be a 10-point game if Cork can connect on the free throw.
Well, this is what Mike Miles has needed to do all afternoon. Just be aggressive and sometimes over-aggressive, because when he does that, good things usually happen. Either he scores or the defense attacks him and doesn't rotate down on the backside to defend on the boards.
Don't forget the huge matchup on the women's side tomorrow afternoon on ABC and the ESPN app. Aaliyah Boston and #1 South Carolina taking on the 12th-ranked Lady Vols. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern. Miles on Akinjo, steps back, 3. No, rebound, Bonner.
Good job by Bonner, not forcing the issue. Time and score here. Akinjo has done a good job in the last few minutes of killing some clock with the dribble.
Gotta love when your point guard has the IQ of James Akinjo, the comfort level of running the show like he does.
He understands there's a few possessions left in this game to not force the issue early.
Working on Cork. Inside, no, rebound. Oh, Akinjo ripped it away.
Now that should not be a reset. There was no change of possession, and that's what Ray Natili is going to look at. The shot was blocked, but TCU never secured the miss. And Akinjo got it back, so the clock should not have reset.
And if anything, if ball would have gotten it, it should have went back to 30 anyway. It was reset to 20 originally. We'll see what they come up with here. Last miss for Miles. That could have cut it as close as 8. Instead, James Akinjo able to eat this clock down under 1 minute. Scott Drew looking for a big win. They've still got a chance. They're behind Kansas by a win, but the Jayhawks come to town next week. Game day will be here. Scott Drew will be hoping they're a little healthy at that point, but there is still an opportunity to make a run at another regular season title.
So good job by the officials. They went to the monitor and saw there was a shot clock violation, and the clock should not have been reset. And they went and looked at the time, and it'll be TCU ball.
A few of them right there. LJ Cryer with the boot in the middle. Adam Flagler right there. Hoping his team can close the deal. TCU is on an 11-1 run right now. Time is not in their favor. Miles in trouble. They got to go quickly. Ball, floater, good. 9-point game, 43 seconds left.
This is the frustrating thing if you're Scott Drew. You played such a good game defensively all afternoon, and the last couple minutes, though, they've relaxed. They've allowed dribble penetration, they've allowed dunks over the top, and second chance opportunities.
Well, talked about Baylor's opportunity. That's where they sit right now, trying to come level on wins with Kansas. Now KU still has to make up the game against TCU, where the Horned Frogs will play them 2 times in 3 days coming up in March. TCU down in the middle of the pack. They started really good. They come in today on a 2-game losing streak. Baylor, the beginning of 7 games in 14 days to finish their season.
So TCU's going to, they call the timeout. They've got to obviously extend the pressure, try to get 1 or 2 traps in the backcourt, but most likely they're going to have to foul once the ball comes over half court, because there's not enough time to let Baylor run what they want on the offensive end.
Coming up next, Morgan State and Howard. It's the first ever NBA HBCU Classic. Stick around and check that out, part of All-Star Weekend. So here we go, Baylor inbound. Jeremy Sochan, 17 points, has led the Baylor Bears today in scoring. Thambas in double figures, along with 3 others for them. 5 players in double digits for the Bears. A shorthanded team and a really impressive performance to this point.
Well, Baylor will likely look over the top. If TCU gambles too much, they'll make them pay by throwing the home run pass. But here, good organization, go to the middle.
And there's the whistle. Tried to tie up Bonner, but a foul called.
Bonner kind of got caught in an awkward position there. He didn't know if he should dribble or turn and look to pass, and then all of a sudden he was triple teamed. He made the right decision just to hold on to the ball.
That's the line. Dale Bonner with 2 shots for your Bears.
Dale Bonner has 4 points. He's 4 for 4 at the free throw line. Let's go to the studio with Zubin and Malcolm.
Hey, Chucky, real quick for you. For those of you looking for Morgan State Howard, I know you mentioned that just a couple of seconds ago in the NBA's involvement in this particular game. Great story. You can see it right now. It's about to tip on the ESPN app. When you guys are done, it'll be back here on ESPN2.
TCU hoping they're not quite done yet. Inside to Miller, kicks it out. Miles, they need it. Too strong, rebound, out on court, Baylor ball.
Good effort by TCU in the last 7-8 minutes, and Jamie Dixon is calling TCU off the foul game, and Baylor is going to pull out a win. Very shorthanded.
Well, this is a great indicator of the culture that Scott Drew has built here. The type of players that they have to come out with 3 of their best guys down and get a really good win over TCU.
Well, started with defense, switching. Lothamba was good on the inside. Akinju ran the team perfectly, and then Brown, Sochan, and Meyer are a load at the forward position.
Well, for 7 of the last 8 years, the Baylor Bears have won at least 10 Big 12 conference games.